Welcome back to the channel. My name is Douglas, and today's video is all about the arpeggiator on the MPC Key 61. There's a ton we can do here, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to turn the arpeggiator on, as well as how to go in and change the settings, all of the different parameters of the arpeggiator. I'm going to sample some of those for you, just going to talk you through a little bit of that, and we're going to jump right in. So I'm using a sound from the Hype instrument. I'm in the Pluck Light category, and then I've got this Icy FM. So to turn the arpeggiator on, we have this ARP button over here, and then if we play one or more notes, it's going to cycle through those notes on just out of the box as an up pattern. So it's just alternating between the notes we play, right? And then if we want to latch that, we have this latch button. And what this does is it's going to hold whatever notes we're playing until we play another one or another series of notes. So same thing, if I play these two notes, I can let go and it continues to cycle through those notes. To turn it off, we just tap on latch and it turns that off while keeping our arpeggiator on. So we could go on latch. And there we can use that latch button to kind of hold those notes when we want them to be held. So to get into the settings for the arpeggiator, we're going to hold down on Shift here or Shift here and tap on the ARP button. Now the ARP button goes red and we're presented with the arpeggiator settings here on the screen. So obviously we have this checkbox for enabled or disabled, and the latch as well. So we have those controls here on the screen. We also have hard buttons for those. And then right below those checkboxes, we have our time signature. So let's say we wanted our arpeggiator to play quarter notes. 8th, 16th, so on and so forth. So depending on the song and how you're gonna use the arpeggiator, you may wanna mess with that to get the right amount of cycles that you're looking for of the arpeggiator in each measure of your song. So then we've got our action. So this section down here has a few things here. So action, if we go into here, and you can double tap and you can see the menu here, or you can press down on the encoder and it brings up this menu. We have ARP, note repeat, rhythm, and pattern. So not only is this an arpeggiator, but we also have built-in patterns and rhythms, and then obviously the note repeat, which we have here in our touch bar as well. But for the arpeggiator, we're going to get this ARP mode, ARP pattern. If we switch to note repeat, we get some different settings. So here we've got obviously our time signature here. And we can use our touch bar to change the time signature as well. Then if we go to rhythm, we have our rhythm selection here. And I'll walk through these a little bit more here in a minute. And then pattern, we pick the pattern. And so this bottom section changes out a little bit as you scroll through the different actions. So then we have the note length. So right now it's set to 50%. So let me go over to 1/16. So what this is doing is actually changing the length of the notes that the arpeggiator plays. And so we can get a little bit of a different feel to our pattern if we change around the note length. Then swing, this is how much the arpeggiator swings outside its normal rhythm. So So 50 is within the rhythm, and you can go to 75, which is going to swing it outside that rhythm a little bit. And then velocity, we have as played from first note, so the velocity from the first note, it applies to the rest of them. Accented, full, 3/4, half, and quarter. So let's say we did full. Doesn't matter how hard I press the keys, it's always going to do the full. And then accented, it allows us to pick the accent note percentage and the normal note percentage, and then it accents the notes in there. I usually do as played. it gives me the ability to kind of set that as I'm playing it, but again, tweak that how you will. So as the action of ARP, we have this ARP mode here. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through every single ARP pattern here because there's a lot of them. And we can either scroll through them with the encoder, we can press down to get the menu, or we can double tap to get the menu as well. So there's a lot of ARP patterns here. Let me just kind of scroll through a few. So we can go to down, which is the opposite of up, obviously. So a lot of different variations here. So depending on whether you are using this for pluck sound like I am, maybe a muted electric guitar that you want to have kind of on a repeat little like doo, 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 doo. You can use the arpeggiator for things like that because it's always going to keep it in perfect time, obviously unless you have swing set. So beyond ARP pattern, we have a couple of things here. So let's go to thumb up. We actually have 8 variations within here as well. So again, depending on what we're looking for, we can kind of mess around with these variations along with the ARP pattern to really try to get a feel for how it fits into our song. And then finally, we have octave. So right now I've had it on octave 1, so it's staying within what I'm playing. But if I set it to octave 2, now we're getting what I'm playing plus an additional octave, and I can continue to go up. So I can have it go up to 4 octaves from what I play. And again, it just gives me some additional ways that I can tweak this. So a lot of times what you'll see on just controller arpeggiators or simple arpeggiators is your time signature, your pattern, which is usually, limited to like an up, up, down, down, up, those sorts of things. A lot of them have random. You have swing, you have note length, and you have octaves. But what this gives you is a lot more of those ARP patterns, and there's a ton in here. And then you also have the variations, and you have the ability to go in and actually affect the velocity for the notes that are being played as well. So one last thing down here is I have the sustain pedal set to latch. So when I press the sustain pedal, watch what happens here. So I'm pressing it, and it actually momentarily latches those notes when I'm pressing the sustain pedal. And so we can go in and we can actually set reset or add for latch mode. So if I'm on reset and I'm playing these notes, so I'm holding the sustain pedal and those are continuing. And if I go to add, what that's doing is instead of overwriting the notes that I played, it's adding them. So let's just go and press one note. So I held the sustain pedal that whole time, and that allows me to kind of do 2 different things with this latch. So one, I can just have it latch the notes I play, replace them when I play the new set, or add, it doesn't replace them, so I'd have to turn latch off or let off the sustain pedal to turn the latched notes off. So let's talk about a couple of the other actions. So note repeat, we already talked about. That's simply repeating the notes we're playing. Rhythm allows us to actually select different rhythms. So we have jaunty, so let's just run through these. So we have these different rhythm patterns that we can have the arpeggiator play for us. And I'm just playing a note. You could use this on a single note as well, but I was playing a chord there. Same thing applies with the note length and the swing and the velocity, as well as our latch settings. And then if we go to pattern and we open up the pattern view here, we have a ton of different patterns. And again, I'm not going to go through every single one of them. Let's just check out a couple here. So bass rhythm 1. And then we have, let's go to some of the chords. So I'm playing a single note and it's playing a chord to go with that. You could write an entire song just off of this. So a lot of different ones there. Again, same thing applies with the velocity, note length, swing, and latch settings. So that's an overview of the arpeggiator. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how powerful this is, not just from the arpeggiator side, but the patterns and rhythms and all of that. So it's really cool that it's all packaged into this ARP functionality. Even with the note repeat stuff, it's all within this one settings piece. So we don't have to go menu diving to go to each one of those different settings. It's all here under the arpeggiator and allows us to do some really cool things, especially around the latch types and the rhythms and all of that. So hopefully that gives you an idea. If you're looking to buy the MPC Key or you already have it, you're really trying to learn how to use it. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions around the arpeggiator or anything we've talked about in this video, throw those down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching. Stay inspired and keep making that music.